Hello and welcome to another edition of Grand Centers Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, JP's for a son, Tim Hoey, and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Well, boys, we have a great show for tonight, so let's get it started. We start with of course, the Super Bowl on Sunday. Tommy Brady wins his 7th Super Bowl. 7 out of 10 is pretty good. I have to admit, was very happy, put a very large wager on the Buccaneers at plus 140. So
Scott,
we're all winners in New England.
It's all about the money then. That's all that matters.
It sure is. You could look, Timmy, you could never bet against Tom Brady. We've learned that in 20 years. And again, it proved itself.
You know who's never been happier in his life is Skip Bayless, man. That guy, I thought he was going to jump out of his skin this week on television.
Look, Tommy did what he had to do. He was fantastic in the first half, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The defense was the star of the day, but unfortunately, you couldn't cash that 32-1 bet.
On Shaq Barrett, yeah.
And he had a marvelous game. He's so athletic. I didn't realize how he could keep up with Mahomes every time chasing around that backfield. Just as athletic as Mahomes. And a good, sight bigger.
Yeah, look, it proved to me the offensive line, the Kansas City, they had some injuries and a lot of second-string linemen, and that was not enough for a fantastic defensive line that Tampa had.
Talking about a couple of everyday linemen being out. We're talking about 2 of the best linemen in the league being out. And, we often overlook, why would a team take an offensive lineman like 3rd pick in the draft? Well, now you see why. Right? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, a guy like Eric Fisher is irreplaceable, right, Joe?
Well, offensive linemen last a long time, too. They usually have 10, 15 careers, nice long careers, steady. They show up every game. You don't have to worry about them. Just plug them in, and that position's taken care of for the next decade.
Yeah, they were.
So the anger and bitterness comes from Patriots fans. First of all, Patriots fans are such a bunch of whiners. They had to take on the whole, we love Tampa Bay so you could get a winner in this town because we have to win every freaking year. Now is the bitter start because Tommy plays next year. And all of a sudden, had we kept him next year, would have been a possibility to compete. Not this year, but next, this coming up.
I also had a few quid on the game on Tampa, so I was very happy with it. Plus, I was rooting for Gronk and Brady. But you know what got me was watching the parade today. And what really upset me was the Tampa fans claiming Brady and Gronk as their own. Like, it didn't bother me until it's like watching, a girl that you loved for 10 years walking down the street with another guy. You know what I mean?
Life goes on, Timmy boy.
What I mean? Now there's 2 types of people. There are the very mature people who say, oh, I'm happy for her. You know what I mean? I hope that she's happy and her life is going well. But then there's the rest of us who are truly bitter and jealous and just but misery on them.
And that would be you. You're the bitter and jealous group. Joe,
until the reporters from Tampa were interviewing the Tampa fans, and they were treating Brady and Gronk like they were theirs. No, they're ours. That's
no, they're not. Life goes on without you. Look, I think Bill Belichick made the right decision this year. He knew he was up against the cap. It was a crazy year with COVID. Obviously, he wasn't going to invest in Tom Brady for another year. Who could have thought that he would have gone down to Tampa, joined up with Gronk, and won a Super Bowl?
Oh, and everyone up here could have been happier. The ratings in Boston were higher than they were in Tampa Bay. Go figure.
Absolutely. Look, Tommy did great. Now we got to go out and get ourselves a quarterback. There's no screwing around now. There's guys out there available. All of a sudden, of course, I'm on the Jimmy G train, but I would like to have Jameson Winston if you couldn't get Jimmy G. What do you think of him?
There's so many big names out there. You got Russell Wilson now wants to be traded.
Really?
Watson to be traded.
No, Seattle's not trading.
Carson Wentz.
Look, Wentz is a stiff.
I want nothing to do with Carson Wentz. I will take Russell Wilson all day long and the next day.
I would give you the next 3 years of draft picks. I would give you all draft picks for the next 3 years for Russell Wilson.
I love Russell Wilson.
I love him too, but I wouldn't do that. And I like your idea about Jameis Winston because he wouldn't cost anything. Just what you have to pay him.
Yeah.
Get ready for 40 interceptions then, Joe. You know,
Excuse me?
get ready for 40 interceptions.
Nah, he won't do that. Not the way they'll use him in a different way.
Yeah. They'll keep.
Bay.
Yeah, it'll be a very controlled system. Yeah, a lot of passes to the backfield.
Brady just took the talent that he went 7-9 with and won a Super Bowl with it. So I'm not a.
Wait a minute. Leonard Fournette wasn't on that team. Gronk wasn't on that team. Antonio Brown wasn't on that team.
I don't know.
Oh no, guys like Barrett and White and stuff. They weren't the type of players last year.
He had a lot of talent. I mean, that was not a 7-9 team he had last year.
No,
He
yeah,
threw in enough interceptions to make them a 7-9 team.
It was a badly coached team. It was a very badly coached team. Arians came along at the right time.
Look, I will tell you that the Kansas City Chiefs are very vulnerable. They're not a great football team. The whole idea that they're going to continue to carry the torch in the AFC and just represent each year in the Super Bowl is not true. You know, that Patrick Mahomes, that may have been the last Super Bowl that he ever wins. I think he's completely overrated.
Yeah, next year will be different. And Tampa Bay won't be there next year either. As much as someone like it,
You know,
they're not going to be there.
The NFL,
They'll be able to make it.
the NFL is the one league where you get 2 or 3 teams that come out of nowhere every year to be contenders. Most leagues, you don't see that happen. The NFL, it happens all the time.
And half the talent on both those teams is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those teams.
well, we've every time we win a Super Bowl, our roster gets plucked clean by the free agent market. You know.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we're going to be plucking clean players. Look,
Yeah.
the first guy that I think comes off, it's going to be free agency soon. First guy that comes hopefully to the Patriots is Hunter Henry. I think you just go out, get a top tier tight end, stops trying to screw around in the draft. And once you address that, then you can bring in a quarterback.
Didn't you like seeing Gronk show Travis Kelce that he's still the best tight end in football?
Well, Travis Kelce, 2 or 3 guys on him the whole game. You know.
Yeah, look.
Still got a dozen passes.
I watched Travis Kelce all year. He was a pretty darn good player.
I tell you something. It was nice when you had those prop bets. I had 3 catches or more for Gronk, and he had that in the first half. So you're just sitting pretty. Now already won a bet. That was an easy one.
Over-under was only like 26 yards.
That's what you had on that, right?
Unbelievable. I said, what? That's something crazy there.
Yeah, you knew they would only have single coverage on Gronk because they had to, deal with wide receivers. Yeah, absolutely. That was a pretty simple bet. And to show Max actually bet the coin toss. So,
I bet the coin toss too, and I won.
You had heads. We're all degenerates. Instead of the grandstanders, we'll call ourselves the degenerates. That'll be the next show.
You know what I lost on was the more than 2 people throwing the ball. I thought at least there'll be one trick play in there. I was pretty confident on that one. There's usually one trick play a Super Bowl, you know.
I was trying to get in a bet, but the bookie wouldn't take it for 60-1 when an offensive lineman catch a touchdown.
Yeah.
I didn't get to put in the bet, and then damn, that offensive lineman should have caught that ball.
Right in his hands.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good defensive play too. The guy whacked it away.
That was but all right. Let's finish up with the Patriots because I'm hearing a lot about Martin Mariota. That was a nice pick. A guy who won a Heisman Trophy. He's actually a quintessential modern day quarterback who can run and throw on the run. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him if no one else was available.
The Raiders are looking for a first-string quarterback. You know, maybe Carr would be. You know, the two of them. If they're going to get rid of both those quarterbacks, we'll take one of them.
But are we? It's like looking for a wife. Are we looking for just a one night stand here or a girl to marry? You know what I mean? Are we looking for? We're not built. We're not winning any championships with Marcus Mariota here. I'll tell you right now.
Look, I don't know. You don't know, like a guy like Ryan Tannehill, it may be a very similar situation. All of a sudden, Tannehill goes to a new team, new system. Next thing you know, he's competing in a high level.
Well, I take Tannehill over Mariota any day of the week.
Oh, now you would, but maybe 2 years ago you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm not a Mariota guy. I'm just telling you.
Look, Tom Brady's not walking through this door, so we got to try to figure out how you can take a quarterback who can work within this Bill Belichick system to succeed, right, Joe?
I'm sending Tom a box of chocolates and some roses tomorrow, hoping he's going to forgive us and come back to the snow.
No.
I just got back from Florida last night. I mean, it's hard. Let me tell you, it's hard taking those flip flops off and putting your boots on again. We'll never see him again north of the.
Sold the house, right? He still hasn't sold that house, so he still got the home in
I
Brookline.
thought he sold it.
Hold it, Joe.
Oh, he sold it.
I think he did sell it. I'm sure there was a.
How about this? This guy can't lose. I think he just sold a condo in Manhattan that he bought for 45. He sold it for 65 million. I mean, he made like a whole NFL paycheck in one real estate deal.
Well, if you
in LA, $5 million to build that house with the moat, they sold it for $25 million.
Yeah, he's making more in real estate than he is playing football.
Yeah, well, money's not any of his problems, but he was shit-faced today coming off the boat parade.
My goodness.
That was not a good look.
I think his body is so pure, right? His blood system is so pristine that you add like 3 beers to it. It's like us drinking 5 cases of beer.
I know.
Well, he can chug a beer pretty good. I've seen him on TV chugging a beer, and he'll drop a 12 ounce in about 2 seconds.
I know, but Joe looked like he couldn't handle his liquor today, and you would have thought they would have walked him somewhere not where all the press was.
I think America's gonna love it to see that he does. He has a little normal human being inside of him, and he's even Tom Brady is capable of getting hammered.
Oh, he sure is. All right, we go to the Celtics. Start with Jason Tatum. If it's possible for a guy of Jason Tatum's level, elite level, to have improved in the last 2 weeks dramatically, then it happened. All of a sudden, something has clicked with this guy. He's driving to the basket, and he cannot be stopped.
Well, someone's got to do it because it isn't Kemba.
No, but have you noticed in his game the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden he's very aggressive to the basket?
I don't know if you recall this, but that was my big knock on Jason Tatum. He couldn't take it to the hole his first 2 years in this league. He used to put the ball at his hip and try to bring it up as he went to the hole, and you'd have everyone in the world whacking at the ball, and rarely would he have a successful drive. Now he takes it, and 90% of the time he makes the shot if he takes it to the hole or gets fouled.
Yeah, he's a new player. He's become a guy that it's pretty clear that he's going to be a 30-plus a game guy.
Yeah, he's there.
Well, I think both he and Jalen have made big improvements, and I think Tice has made a big improvement. Unfortunately, the rest of the team seems to have regressed. Oh, I'll give Rob Williams an improved grade too.
So that's a great segue, Joe, into the subject everybody's talking about. Kemba Walker, when he misses, he sometimes doesn't even hit the rim. He hits just the backboard. I don't know how could it be his knee?
I think it's a confidence thing. I think his confidence is shattered right now. I don't know what's going on. It's like he's lost his mojo. He needs to get his mojo back.
He's even missing the bunnies. Those little poppers in the lane that he just were always 100% for him. He's missing everything.
Remember Lenny Dykstra couldn't make that throw from second. You wonder if, it's in Kemba's head now. He's afraid to shoot.
Well, look, I've been saying this for over a year now. Kemba Walker, I think his best role, despite the fact that he's a max guy, is to come off the bench to be a sixth man, just an instant offense guy. I think maybe you take him out of the starting lineup right now, and just change his head a little bit, change the way how he comes into the game, and see how that works out.
Well, who's your point guard? Peyton Pritchard or Jason Tatum?
Who's your point guard? I like it. Would Pritchard would obviously have to come in there. Marcus Smart plays the point, when he's back, obviously. And I'm not giving up on Jeff Teague. I know everybody else is. I thought that was a really good signing. I like Jeff Teague. I just don't know what's up with him right then. Now,
Pritchard being our point guard right now, he plays with a lot of poise. I mean, he's not he's not your typical rookie now. He's a 22, 23-year-old kid,
I don't know. I think that I think you have to pump the brakes on him as far as minutes go. I don't think he's any more than a 15 to 18-minute guy right now.
He's the same age as Brown and Tatum.
No, I know, but development-wise, physically, I don't think you can. And this is only his rookie season. I don't think you can play him much more than 18 minutes.
Playing 30 games a year. He never played more than 30 in high school and college. Now he's going to be expected to play 72. He might hit a little bit of a wall here.
Yeah, I felt like he was severely overmatched yesterday against Utah.
Utah looked like a very, very strong team.
Oh, they look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Went 7 for 9 from 3, and they're only up by 3 points after the first quarter. You go, oh man, this team's going to steamroll us.
I'll tell you, we could use Gobert in the middle at our joint here.
I know. Remember we talked about it, Timmy, how when Gobert and Mitchell were having that problem with the COVID, how Danny needed to pounce on that right away when they were fighting.
Hey, I keep bringing up, we need a big, giant human being in the middle. That's what I believe.
I know. Unfortunately, there aren't that many of those guys around, and nobody's giving them up.
They're not athletic enough to do the things that, say, like a Gobert or an Embiid or Antonio, Davis does.
But we get 4 quick guys. I don't know. I just think we need a big guy.
We have had some big stiffs drafted in obviously our 4 major sports here, and currently the N'Keal Harrys of the world lead the list. But I would say number 1 right now is Romeo Langford, the 14th pick in the draft. They asked Brad Stevens about Romeo Langford, and he didn't even answer the question. Yeah, it's become a joke now. You went from Tyler Hero, the 13th pick, to absolute trash, pick 14.
Have we seen flashes of anything from this guy?
He never plays, nor does he plan on playing.
But when he played, it wasn't like you saw flashes of potential, or he could be this or anything. I have seen nothing that makes me have any hope in him.
He could have had his hand amputated, and he would have been back playing right now with a phony hand compared to this wrist injury.
Why did Indiana, right? They don't seem to be able to fix modern medicine or something.
This is a joke. Is it just going to be something where slowly but surely they just he fades away and they just cut him?
A 3.5-year rehab already,
Yeah, right, because he was rehabbing in the University of Indiana.
Can we trade him for a first-round draft pick?
Oh, you've got to be joking. Yeah, all right. First-round draft pick for like a prep school. All right, Grant Williams. I don't know what to tell you. Grant Williams to me is a guy that a nice 10 to 15-minute player on a team that has lots of offense and lots of athleticism, neither of which the Celtics have right now. I just still don't think he's a good fit for the team.
I think he's got a place more like what you're describing, a 10-minute player. We need to upgrade that second unit of Grant Williams, Chevy, Teague. They're just not NBA caliber players right now, it seems.
For me, Grant Williams' style, he plays a style that like a 6'11" guy should play, but he's not 6'11".
Yeah, he's just
he tries to play a big man's game, but he's just 30 pounds too light and 3 inches too short to play that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who come out of college who are successful in the college level, who are just these hybrids, who just don't work in the NFL. It does not translate. It feels like Grant Williams is one of those guys.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's a tweener, but he doesn't have the quickness to be. He needs to be his size, but twice as quick as he is.
Yeah, he's not a Brogdon type. To me, he's not a Draymond Green type. He's not Marcus Smart. I don't know, but I don't think you can depend on him and get to where you want to get to, which is a champion.
He's a 5, and we need a 7.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that obviously there are guys that out there that we need to acquire. One of the guys that I love is Harrison Barnes. If you're going to get Harrison Barnes, you're going to have to give up Grant Williams and more.
I got no problem with that.
Salary exception, so they don't have to match the salary.
Right, but how would Harrison Barnes look good in a Celtic uniform?
Oh, definitely. He would answer a lot of problems they have.
How tall is he?
I don't know, probably.
He wants big. He wants big.
No, I think he's probably about 6'7".
Yeah, he's a wing.
Yeah. Oh, he's a prototype wing. But we saw him play against the Celtics when they were in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I tell you something, offensively, he's better than I thought he was.
He'd be a great addition offensively to the Celtics. I don't see those West Coast teams often enough to make any real difference. You just don't see these guys. They're a revelation when you see them. Those West Coast teams are pretty good.
I think that Harrison Barnes plays the same role as James Posey, and I think he has that same effect if the Celtics acquire him.
Oh, that was a good effect. Get that effect.
Contract.
He has a couple years left.
Posey played tough. He was a tough guy.
Oh, fantastic. And another guy I've been talking about is Terrence Ross, a gunner out of Orlando, always kills the Celtics. He'd be another guy that you would need instant offense off the bench.
Well, that's what they need. That second unit. If the first unit gets the lead, second unit gives it right back every time.
Hey, Danny better not let this trade exception just float by us here.
No, Danny.
Asset, he's got to use it. You can't always win the trade, Danny. Sometimes to make his team a winner, you have to lose the trade a little.
Yeah, and hopefully you have a good team moving forward, so your first round draft pick really doesn't matter. Give some of those up in the future instead of trying to get some back. This is the year. They have to try to go for it.
I don't know. When I watched them against Utah last night, I just got the feeling that there's no way they could beat them in a 7-game series, even if we had someone to match up a little with Gobert.
Yeah, Marcus Smart would have mattered yesterday. I agree with you. No, it's very difficult. What Danny acquires is going to have to really change the whole makeup of the team.
Kemba playing poorly is really, really affecting this team. I mean, he's supposed to be there at the Brown Tatum level, or maybe a notch below it, but he's our next grandpa. It seems like that right now. I mean, would you take grandpa right now over him?
Well, they're different positions. I wouldn't take grandpa.
No, but I mean,
grandpa.
The effectiveness, they're a positive impact on the team.
Well, Hayward made no positive impact on the team at all, so I can't talk about it. And what a fucking joke he is. Now all of a sudden he goes to Charlotte, no pressure, and he's playing really well. We know if he was in Boston right now, he wouldn't be half the player if he was even playing.
He's not meant for this town, I'll tell you that.
And he's meant to be the number one guy on a team. He likes being the big fish in the swamp.
Number one guy on a mediocre team.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, nobody cares in Charlotte. Yeah. That's perfect for him. He's all happy. And if he gets if they get the 8th spot, that's a big success if they do that. All right, let's go to the Red Sox. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're down the street. So they signed a Japanese reliever.
Koji.
We've had some pretty good success, with Okajima too.
Oh,
it was fantastic. I have to admit, I'm starting to warm up to the team a little bit. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be a bad team. I think the Red Sox, if they have 16 teams in the playoffs, could very well end up squeaking in there in a wild card spot.
I think they're not as good as the Yankees at Tampa, but they're the third team in that division, and they'll be a competitive team.
I think they'll be lucky to go 500.
I don't know.
Record that. Record what I said.
All right, Timmy said lucky 5. We haven't done the Red Sox show, but that's it. Yeah, you can't give them any more than 81 wins, Timmy. It's not going to be allowed right now. All right, well that's fine. We'll go to the Bruins finally to end it. Of course, we got to go to Timmy. Has the young defenseman Timmy replaced anything that Chara might have brought to the team this year?
Well, the young defenseman Miller certainly has. I'll tell you that. No, are these guys Chara? No. How many Charas are there out there? I mean,
but as far as production,
Chara had an aura about him. Hockey's a game of intimidation. Chara brought that factor. And we're missing that factor. Miller kind of has that. Not as intimidating as Chara, but you knew you had the baddest brother on the block sitting on your bench at all times. So there's a factor there. He had lost a lot of speed. He had adjusted his game for his lack of speed. He adjusted his positioning for that lack of speed. I thought he played better last year than he did the year before. Are these
but
guys?
McAvoy's picked up his game.
Yeah. He has. Miller's been my brightest.
Picked up his game too.
Well, Miller's a bright spot, Timmy, for you because you had no expectations for him too. I
didn't know what to expect. I used to wonder what the hell are they hanging on to this guy for. In 2 years, they get hanging on to him, and now I know why. The guy's got game, and he brings a lot to the table. I'm a big Miller fan.
And now for the production you're getting out of Miller, Joe, that's pretty good for the price you're paying.
Well, yeah, but I guess he was working late in the 2 years long. Operation after operation. He just had a lot of bad luck. Now he's looking good.
He's a big up. He's a big up. So Miller's game right now is a large upgrade over the game that Chara had last year.
I agree.
The young players, who's standing out to you, Timmy, from last year to this year?
I can't say anybody. All I can talk about is that first line. You know what I mean? The rest of the team's like a 500 team. That first line we have is just a freak show. How great they are. I mean, it's the best line in hockey. We're privileged to watch that line, play every game. It's a joy to watch them play.
How about Frederick?
Frederick, I like his feistiness. He's ready to drop the gloves. We needed a little bit of that. You can obviously see what kind of hockey I like. I like rock'em sock'em hockey, and Frederick at least brings a little bit of that. He's not. He likes a feisty game, which I like to watch.
Look, they went out of the bubble. All of a sudden, they're having problems with COVID now. This is a real weird season. The Canadian teams are playing just in Canada. They're having Bruins had 2 games in a row with the Sabres postponed. Are they going to have to go back in the bubble to finish this thing?
Nah, they'll be all right. They just made some bad. The NHL made some bad decisions early on, and I think they learned their mistakes.
I was just down in Florida, like I said, 60-70% of the people down there not wearing a mask, and life's just going on like nothing's going on. It was kind of refreshing to see. I got to be honest with you.
Well, they're dying, but because you don't get to see the ones who died, they're not about. But
that's just the tourists, Timmy. I'll tell you from what I hear from my sisters. All the locals, they don't leave. They go once a week to the grocery store, and if they have to go to a doctor's appointment, that's it.
I don't know, man. The streets look pretty crowded to me, and I wasn't on the Tampa side. I was on the other side.
No, there's no question that Florida's not wearing masks, and of course, there's no question that they're dying. So I mean, there's a correlation there. Anyone can choose not to wear a mask, but they also can choose to die too. And that's that wonderful idiot governor of theirs. He's leading people to the right. Right, Joe? Help me here. I mean,
they don't have to pay the medical costs now so much. They go trim the herd, as they say.
Yeah, watching the game from Utah last night, and you see that they said there was only 4,000 people in the stands. It looked like a hell of a lot more than 4,000.
I'm dying that the New Yorkers gonna start putting people in the stands on February 23rd.
They are.
Yep.
You think we're going to see that in Boston by springtime?
Well, I don't think the Bruins are putting anyone in the seats this year. I mean, they returned the season ticket money. So.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well,
They
they still.
paid for a trip down to Boca.
Well, you had an option. You could either put it next year and they'll give you 5% juice on top of it or something, or we can take it back. But I get tuition payments, so I took it back.
I got an email from some representative of the Red Sox saying, "I know you're not going to have season tickets, but can you tell your friends and neighbors about season tickets with the Red Sox?"
Tell them about our skinny seats where one person has to lean forward and the other person has to back.
She's wanting me to share the email with my friends and
The
neighbors.
only thing that'll get me there, those two twins we saw on that hot summer night were at the low cut. Get me
No,
good.
Kara's not near you right now. Abigail Adams is. But look, the fact is, and we haven't talked about this on the show, I think that moving forward, that Fenway's become obsolete.
They have to drop the prices, Scott. It's unsustainable. Their prices are unsustainable.
Timmy,
Build a new stadium. They can keep the dimensions.
What?
They can keep the
they're gonna have to, yeah. They're gonna have to get rid of Fenway.
Stadium complex.
80% of the people there are small business owners who had a tax write-off. That has gone away, right?
But also,
So,
people, Timmy, are not gonna want to sit on top of each other anymore.
yeah, so you own a plumbing company with 20 employees. You have season tickets. You give them to your customers. It used to be a tax deduction. It's not anymore. Times get a little lean. That's the first thing you're going to chop, right?
Yeah. The budget's always the first to go when things get wrong.
Yeah.
Look, I love Fenway just about more than anyone, and I realize now it has to go.
I know I'm beating a dead horse. When it was tax deductible, it made sense to do it. When it's not tax deductible, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. All right, boys. Well, that's our show tonight. Want to thank, of course, Corbin behind the scenes. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandsterners.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grand Sterners Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.